The information that I'm going to give you at this time is a preliminary little bit of information that we have thus far. Please understand we're going to take some questions after. There are going to be some things that I'm not going to be able to answer just simply because I don't know right now, or it's a part of the evolving investigation, okay? So at approximately, sure, yes. I'm happy to do it again if I need to while you get set up. So at approximately 3:23 p.m. This afternoon, Durham police officers that were working off duty inside of the mall, side of here at Southpoint, requested assistance after hearing a sound of shots coming from within the mall. As a result, the mall was placed on a complete lockdown. The responding officers discovered that 3 people had been shot. Preliminary investigation has shown this, that the shooting that occurred today occurred between 2 groups that knew each other. Those individuals following the shooting, the majority of them fled. However, we have one person that is being detained, and we do have several witnesses. The 3 individuals, one of those is a 10-year-old juvenile, and they were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They were injured as a result of a ricochet from one of the rounds. So, certainly shootings in this city have got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. I want to thank obviously the men and women of the Durham Police Department who responded so promptly and acted with valor today, the Durham County Sheriff's Office, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol who have responded to assist us as well, emergency management, Durham County Fire and EMS, as well as, and always will be wonderful partners, our Southpoint Mall security and management team. So at this point in time, I'm happy to open it up for a few questions.
Chief Keely Arthur with WRL News.
Yes.
We're hearing reports of a woman who was pregnant that was trampled. Do you have any update on that?
So I don't know. I have not heard that specifically. I know that did happen with the previous incident that happened here. However, I have not gotten that report. I know that we had 3 people that I know of at this point in time that were injured, that have all been treated or taken to the hospital, but I have not heard of someone that's pregnant just yet.
The 3 people that were injured, were those the ones that were shot, or those were 3 additional people that were hurt in the evacuation?
Yeah, so let me clarify. So we had 3 people that were shot, and then we had an additional 3 people that were injured during the evacuation.
Those 3 people who were shot, you mentioned the 10-year-old. Was the 10-year-old a bystander, or was the 10-year-old part of the group that knew each other?
I don't know that yet.
What do we know about the people? You said that these are groups of people that know each other. So this was not an active kind of domestic terror or anything like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. These people, this group of people, I'm sorry for hitting your microphone, they actually did know each other, so they were familiar with each other. So this is not, when we talk about active assailant, right? This is not a situation where someone came into the mall and indiscriminately just began firing.
Where
this section of the mall, I think it'd be the southern corner of the mall. Upstairs portion, we have an active crime scene. The mall is closed, and as soon as we are able to release the mall, and we'll talk with mall management and make that decision together. So, yes,
so what happens next? You said that shootings have got to stop. What are you guys going to do in the immediate time to make sure that this mall is going to be safe to reopen again?
Well, what we have continued to do, we have continued to provide security here for the mall, but not just for the mall, for all of our residents that are affected. I think that's very important. We have worked with all of our federal partners to identify these individuals that are bent on coming to our community and wreaking havoc. We will be sending them to federal prison.
Chief, we have video of a person in handcuffs. What can you tell us about the people who have been arrested? Is there anyone that still needs to be arrested? And what about any recovering of weapons?
Sure. So right now, I know for sure we have one weapon that was recovered. There are several people that we want to be able to locate and speak with. I do not have descriptions on those folks just yet. Once we have a description on them, we'll be sure to get that out to you. We will be making several arrests, I'm certain, during the course of this investigation, but we'll keep you posted. So, but again, thank you all so much for being here tonight. If we have anything more significant, aside from what I've just told you, I'm happy to come out. However, at this point in time, I do not foresee any further on-camera
It's a
interviews
busy
right
shopping
now.
weekend. Should
It
people
is.
feel safe to come back
Absolutely,
here
absolutely.
All right, thank you. That
Absolutely. Thank
that's
you.
going
Can
to
you
conclude the
state
press
that first
conference.
part of
Thank
this
you.
again? You said you would restate it.
All right, you have been listening to a live press conference from Durham, North Carolina, after a shooting at a mall there around 3 o'clock this afternoon. The shooting happened at the Southpoint Mall in Durham, North Carolina. Here is what we have learned, just to recap for you from that press conference. 3 people were injured in this shooting on a busy Black Friday, a 10-year-old included, with a ricochet from one of the bullets. That child has been taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are saying at this point 2 groups who knew each other were involved in the shooting. They have detained 1 person for questioning. They were seen taken away in handcuffs. Others got away, but there were witnesses who saw what happened, and you can imagine a lot of cameras around as well that will help in this investigation. The one thing that stood out, you can hear the frustration in that police chief's voice saying shootings in this city have got to stop. They are clearing that mall, and they say it is safe for shoppers to return to shopping in Durham, but clearly a lot of frustration as thousands of people put in danger as they are out together with their families on this busy holiday shopping. I want to go back out to our reporter on the scene with our local station there. Lillian was at that press conference. Lillian, can you shed some light on the chief's frustration with shootings in this area, and has this been an ongoing issue over the last couple of weeks and months that led up to this?
Yeah, this is very new here with the police chief just making sure. She's saying that, she's saying they're going to put them in federal prison. You could hear that frustration in her voice. There has been an uptick in shootings here in Durham, and that's really where that frustration is coming from. She said that these 2 groups did know each other. She said something interesting that, she's tired of people coming into the community and wreaking havoc. We don't know if that means that these people were from Durham or if they were visiting Southpoint Mall here today. What we do know, though, is those victims. We have 3 people shot, another 3 people injured in the aftermath of that, and one of the people who have been shot is a 10-year-old. Again, we're still waiting to know more, though, about what condition they're in at this moment.
Lillian, before I let you go, what's the scene there at the mall right now as you look around? We can see some police vehicles behind you. What are people doing who were there?
Definitely. Well, all of the customers are now out of the store. You can see behind me, though, there is still a law enforcement presence. There's still police. There's still fire here. And then if I take you this way a little bit to kind of show you inside the mall, there are still security officers, security guards inside, police inside. Just minutes before her press conference that we just saw, we saw police making final sweeps through the middle of the mall, holding their weapons, making sure that everybody was gone. We were talking to shoppers just an hour ago about staying inside those stores and finally being relieved, being able to get out. So as of right now, looks like all the shoppers are out. Looks like the scene is secured. However, there are those suspects that they still need to apprehend, and those are the things that I think the police right now are concerned most with.
Has this mall had any issues in the past with people showing up, getting into altercations?
Well, there was an issue a few weeks back. There was a shots fired call. However, it wasn't actually shots fired. It was a broom that made a loud noise. And because of that noise, that led to people running out, calling for shots fired. It's unclear if there's been any other violent behavior or shootings in this before that. That was the most recent incident, though. So there definitely were some people on edge here, but this time definitely was not what happened before.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.